I begin to.
What is up, everybody? What is up? What is up? Happy Saturday, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Paint and Release. I want to thank y'all so much for joining us. If you guys are here vibing with us today on this Saturday, make sure y'all go ahead and drop a comment in the chat. Let us know that y'all here. Let us know where y'all coming from. We have a special guest. Y'all, everybody, welcome with me, Mr. Josh Brown. Josh, what's up?
What's good? It's weird.
Y'all, so listen. What's weird? Being in the studio?
No, it's weird when you like having that welcome, that invitation, and you already had that prior to the show starting. So you're like, hey, how you doing? You're like, oh, but I know you just told me. But no,
well, let everybody else know how you doing. I know how you doing, but let everybody else know how you doing.
I'm blessed. I'm breathing this morning. I'm about to do two things that I like to do, which is have good conversation and paint. So I'm good. I'm in a good place.
Amen for that, y'all. So y'all know what it is. Y'all know what we do here at Paint and Release. Y'all know our mission. Our mission is to create a space for creatives to be able to have their voices be heard through transparent dialogue while, releasing through artistic expression. So we do that here. Our vision is for us to release and heal one brushstroke at a time. So we gonna go ahead and get started. So listen, y'all. I put myself up for a challenge today. We gonna put ourselves up for a challenge today. I'm gonna try to recreate the master painter's work today. So let me let me go ahead and show y'all what we gonna go ahead and do. Mr. Brown has already painted this, and I'm gonna try to recreate it. I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but we're gonna go ahead and recreate it today and get started though. But while we going ahead and getting started, we'd already painted and kind of prepared ourselves, our canvases and stuff like that. We're gonna go ahead and jump in. But Josh, let the people know, who is Josh Brown? Who is Josh Brown?
Josh Brown is a artist that paints, that does poetry. Have recently started messing around with actually sharing music that I make, because I made music for a long time, but haven't really shared it except for with a few close people. But yeah, I'm a full-time artist right now. And
okay.
Yeah, since October, that has been something that I've been navigating, and it has been a journey.
I was gonna say, how that's been going. Is that going good?
It's
been a journey though.
Yeah, it ebbs and flows. Because I'm so used to, I've been working since I was 15, and working in jobs, and so you get accustomed to having a certain amount of money come in every 2 weeks or every month or whatever, and then when that's kind of not a standard, you kind of actually gotta explore. It's some weeks some money come in, and I'm doing decent. I'm eating real good. Some weeks, bank account be looking anorexic. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think
that's when you be like, Lord.
You said what?
I said that's when you be like, Lord.
Yeah.
Come on.
Definitely stretching.
That's when the faith gotta get strong.
That's when the faith gotta get you.
Definitely.
You keep working out that faith muscle. Because when the bills do, they don't care. They don't care what you. I'm trying to do full time. All right, okay. Full time mean my money. This phone bill coming up. Oh.
Right.
But it's been rewarding. It's been rewarding.
Definitely, I completely understand.
I've learned a lot.
That's good. I'm.
Huh?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm
No,
breaking
I
up.
was just saying that as we were talking a little bit before the show started, like, being in that place where you want to transition, but, you really evaluating the need and the necessity. And sometimes you can't make that jump as soon as you want to, but sometimes you just got to jump. And so it's real. It's real.
Definitely. It's all about timing though. It definitely is all about timing. I definitely feel like, God has his timing. We may have our own, will and desire to do certain things, and God be like, not yet. So
Yeah.
I think it's very important to move with him though, because I just rather not go through the the extra if I ain't got to. If I just when God say move, move, and then everything flows. But Josh, you just had a birthday, right? Like
I did just have a birthday.
you did.
Well, not just, but middle of February 16th, I turned 30.
You turned 30. Okay, welcome to the 30 club.
Thank
How you feeling?
I feel
How
good.
you feeling?
I feel, man, I feel better than I did when I turned 25. I feel kind of like a liberation to a certain degree. I feel more free. I feel like I know a lot more of myself. I learned a lot about myself and about God and about life in these last 5 years. And so turning 30 was like a real big transition, in the sense that I think I've walked away from living like in fear. I feel like I've navigated from a fearful perspective a lot in my 20s, and now I'm just kind of like, man, I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time.
Right.
So I feel good.
You know what? I wish my 30s would have been like that. I think when I turned 30, I was real ambitious when I turned 30 because I'm 31. So when I turned 30, I was like, hey, I'm 30. I had that mindset that I was about to, just embark upon this great journey of being grown, real grown.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I kind of got in my way a little bit too. Like I was second guessing myself a lot during my 30th birthday. After my 30th birthday, I was second guessing myself a lot. God had me go through a wilderness season when I turned 30. I had to prune some stuff off my tree. Cause it couldn't go to the next level with me. But then 31 for me, I think 31 for me was that's when it was like, all right, okay. All right, this is what I was looking for when I turned 30. This is what I was looking for when I turned 30. So definitely living without fear. That's definitely what happened for me when I turned 31. Hence when I turned 31, I started dreads. That was my locks. I started my lock journey. I was like, you know what? I had to be, blessed into the club. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of worrying about things such as hairstyles. And I was the woman that was like trying to try every little thing, and I didn't want to be worried about that type of stuff no more. So I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do this.
I definitely feel you.
All right, so Josh, yeah, it's freeing.
You said it's what?
It was freeing for me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I said me starting my lock journey was freeing.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I actually started mine twice. When I was 27, I started growing them, and I had a haircut at the time that was like one of them high top kind of joints where you be using that little brush, the little
sponge.
Yeah. And so I actually started freeform dreads from that, but it was just up top. And it was one night, man, I ended up having just a weird situation, transpired, and I felt like God, was speaking to me that night, and like I was heavily intoxicated, and I felt like God was like over. And so the next morning, I sat down and I had some prayer, and I journaled. And in that journal, just these things came out about why I was growing my hair and what, I was learning about my identity in God and in Christ. and what my hair was assigned for. And when, after I finished that, I prayed and went in the bathroom and cut my stuff off and started over again. And it was like a process, man. Like, I was in there weeping, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, damn, this is part of me. Like you said, I think you mentioned something very important, that some stuff can't come, with us into our next stage. Some things have to be left behind. Something, the Bible talks a lot about we got to die to ourselves in some different ways, and things have to be cut off of us. Yes. We have to be pruned. So that was a pruning process, or part of my pruning process. Yes. And I mean, I feel like I learned a lot in that ugly stage again, because it was bogus. I'm like, Lord, my hair just starting to get a little hang, and now you want me to go through this ugly process again, like, I don't want to be ugly again. It was real. So I definitely feel you. That's
you like, why, Lord? Yes. For real. But you know what? Do you just think that's so, like, talking about just that piece of it and being obedient just in that moment, like, how do you, like, for me, because I like to be in control of stuff, and I think that's one thing that God has really been dealing with me on in this season, is really just just surrendering and allowing him to move. And so for me, I think like, when I finally be obedient and things like really pan out, and God just amazes me as he always does, because he always, his ways are so much better than our ways. And when he amazes me, like, how do you feel when you finally be obedient and God be like, look, see, this is what I have for you on the other end.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I mean,
how do you feel like when your obedience?
I mean, I feel it's a bittersweet thing, because there have been times where, I've been expeditious in my obedience, right? Like, and so I don't have to learn that lesson of the that comes with hindsight. You like, I've been being disobedient for so long, and then you finally get it, and now you get hindsight, because I think God does show us, like, well, this was my perfect will. This was what this was going to look like had you just come. I just follow what you're supposed to do. I'm gonna preserve you. I'm gonna take care of you because you're mine, and I'm gonna make sure you're good anyway. But this is what it could have been. So there is, it's like, when you have that space, it's like it's a freedom, because it's like, dang, God, you're gonna keep me and you're gonna take care of me even in my disobedience. And but then it's like, again, this bitterness, because it's like, dang, had I just been surrendered in the first place, had I just submitted and walked with you the way that you wanted to, this could have turned out totally different. And scripture talks about how God puts our feet in with God, our feet are in a spacious place. And if we just operate on that, like, just period, like, if we just start from there, I don't know, I think we would have so much less trauma, we have so much less regret, so much less and I think we wouldn't wrestle as much with guilt and shame as much. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And my mama told me, man, like, I remember when my mom, we were talking about obedience, and I felt like God wanted me to do something that I really didn't want to do. And I was gonna, like, kind of, you would get a word and you feel like you're supposed to do something, you'll be like, you know what, well, if you really want me to do that, you'll bring it back up. I ain't really got to do it right now. And my OG was like, well, delayed obedience is disobedience. And that has been something that has been profound for me, because I'm like, yeah, like, you can be obedient, but not in the timing that you were supposed to be. And that's just like disobedience. And so I feel like, and God blesses those that move when he say move.
Yes.
It's real.
And that's been a lesson. Oh, that's been a thing for me. Like, move when God say move, and not when you feel like it. You are completely right. I think that's something I've been learning too. Like, delayed obedience is definitely disobedience. And I was like, you know what? But I think for me, I'm like, to the point where I'm like, Lord, I've tried it my way for so long, and it ain't been working out. Like, I'm just go ahead and do it your way, because I know it's gonna be better anyway. So I just might as well just cut out all the I might as well cut out all the rest of it. Like, why even go through all of that?
Exactly. It's like, what does that
this. Yes, definitely. This is great conversation. Y'all, if y'all are joining us today for this conversation, today's topic at hand here is the God's will in the art. So we definitely Josh has really just dived in with God's will, and I think this has been some good dialogues thus far. Definitely want to just find out. So Josh, one thing that I noticed, like your name, like as an artist, you have the planes. Explain to us what that is and where that came from. Have you evolved from that name, or is that something that you still let us know what that is?
So so the Josh the Plains actually came. I think we got these times where we create these alter egos, these personas and stuff like that might fit us at the time, and then it don't fit you no more. And so that name actually came when I was I want to say a junior in high school, and I was smoking a lot of weed. I was smoking a lot of weed and listening to a lot of Wiz Khalifa. And Wiz Khalifa had a project out with Currency, and it was called Paper Planes or something like that. And I had just gotten to tattooing. I had, like I said, was doing some stuff, and I'm just like, this is a dope name, Josh. I just got a ring to it. And so that's, I put my Twitter as that. I had, I got on Instagram shortly after that and made my Instagram that. And then as I was also getting into open mics when I went to college, that was the name that I came, Josh the Plains, and it just like people, it rolled off at the time. And so I think maybe 3 years ago, I tried to go in and change it. I started getting called Josh Paul as I think my life started looking differently. And I started walking in the will of the Lord. And that name came actually, I was on in Atlanta doing some ministry work, and we were walking through the community out there and just witnessing to people, talking to people, loving on people, praying for people. And it was time to go. And I'm like, nah, it's one more person that I was supposed to talk to. And so I'm like, y'all gonna have to wait, and I just went, and they waited on the bus. I'm out there talking to them, and that person ended up accepting Christ. And so, I went up, I'm feeling good now. I get back on the bus, like, yeah, it was worth it, y'all. I'm glad y'all waited. And my friend was like, you know what?
Right.
I'm gonna call you Paul now. She was like, because you ain't going against the ground. You going with where God tell you to go. And so that Josh Paul started, but I couldn't change my name on the platforms because Josh Paul was taken. And so every variation of Josh Paul is taken. I'm putting underscores in that joint. I'm putting exclamation marks in that joint, and it just couldn't, it wouldn't change. So I just stuck with Josh the Plains, But yeah, that name came.
So y'all, it's safe to say that Josh has grown out of Josh the Plains, but at this present time, social media will not allow him to change his name, but he is better known as
Josh
Paul. All right. So that's interesting. That is so interesting. So Josh, I've known you through like mutual friends. We have a mutual friend. And I think that a lot of the times, like when I've heard about you or something, like I've kind of gotten to this space where I kind of like, I've described you as the Renaissance man. And it's because you're talented in so many different areas of art, just so many different areas. So tell us some of the different forms of art that you dabble in, some of the different things that you do. Like, I know you were just talking about ministry. We talked about spoken word. Y'all see him on here painting. Meantime, in between time, let me show y'all what we are recreating. I don't know how I'm doing. We gonna see how it go. But this is what we're recreating today, y'all. This is an original from Josh Paul that I'm trying to recreate right now. So tell us some of the different art forms and just some of the different things that you dabble in.
So I've been doing art since I feel like I came out the womb doing art. To be honest with you, my mom was an artist, and so growing up, I saw her drawing a lot, and she was cold. Um, and one of my grandfathers is actually a painter, and so or not my grandfather, my grandmother's brother. So it's just art been in my family. That's like a real thing. And so I've been drawing since I was a kid. I started actually selling clothes in high school because your boy needed some ends, and so like I started painting clothes, and that kind of got me into painting and exploring acrylics and oils and different things. And then shortly after that, I ended up getting a job and getting fired from my job, and came across one of my homies that I went to grammar school with, and he had started tattooing. And so I kind of, he was like, "You want to learn?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." And so that was the next like 2 or 3 years of my life, kind of getting acclimated with the tattoo machine. And so I've tattooed, I've drawn, I've painted, and then I went to college. I started writing as a senior in high school, writing poetry. And I remember my first poem I wrote. I was with this girl, and of course it was a love poem. You know what I'm saying? And it was dope. Like it was dope. Like that poem was cold. And what happened was she ended up taking that poem and showing it to all her friends. And so all her friends came to me, like people was coming, "Josh, can you write me a poem like this? Can you write me a poem?" Yeah, and so that's how I found out I had like a gift with words as well. And then when I got to college, I started doing open mics and started really exploring that, and sitting with people, sitting with some dope artists that was amazing wordsmiths, and I just was really into that. And so that's how I got into poetry. And then over the course of my collegiate career, I got connected with some people that did music, and and that's that it's an easy transition from poetry to rapping, and writing songs and stuff like that. I don't say easy, but it's a smooth transition. And so that's how I started getting into writing. I mean, writing music and performing music and different things like that. And so I got opportunities for murals in the last couple of years, which is something I never dreamed about, and something I want to explore even more. And so like that, I don't know. I just been getting to know myself and knowing that gifting that God has given me. And I'm just like, I want to explore as many avenues of artistry as I can and see what I'm good at.
Okay. Okay. So would you say that art is your purpose, or would you say that God has really called you to do something else and art is just a hobby?
I would say that people are my purpose. Um, I
Okay.
really and art is a avenue of relationship for me. And so I feel like
Yeah.
I've been called to really witness and share that we have an opportunity to know this perfect person in Jesus Christ, and that He transforms our entire lives. And so I've been called
Yes.
to people just to build relationships, to share what I know, to learn with people, learn more about their reality, and then art is a passion that God has given me to connect with people in that way. And it's something that brings a
Yeah.
lot of joy to my life, but it's not my purpose per se. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But that's I mean, that's a good avenue. And that's a good way to explain it. Like a lot of people, I think they get so caught up in, Lord, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And they have these gifts and they don't know how to utilize them to kind of, maneuver into their purpose. And for you seem like you've gotten that down where you're like, my purpose is people. And God just uses the art to be able to, open those doors of communications and being able to witness to people. And I think that's amazing. Art for me, I'm one of those kids too. Like I've always drawn and always done something. I've sung, I've danced, I've done it all. Like, and I think for me in this last year, God has really like, a lot of the times we lose ourselves, when we, out of the will of God and trying to do our own thing, you lose yourself, and what God has called you to do. And I think that it's just been amazing to me. Like this journey, these last couple of months for me, I have really like God has just been bringing so many different things back. Like I like to write too, so I'm like, ah, dang, I haven't wrote in so long. Like I forgot that I like doing this, and
Yeah.
God like, look, look what I have for you. Like this has gone nowhere. Like you just were, doing your little own thing, but I've been sitting here waiting patiently for you. Like, and I'm just so amazed, and I'm just so thankful that for God's grace, because like you said, like even when we doing our own thing, He's still protecting us, still watching out, still making sure that I know they coming back. I know they on their way back, and when they get here, I got something for them, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Josh,
Yeah.
speaking, just diving into just the painting piece of it. So, or not even just the painting piece, because I really believe that each artist goes through different seasons where their work evolves, and whether that's a dancer, a painter, a rapper, whatever the case may be, where their art evolves. Have you Tell us about a time where you kind of noticed that your art really started to take a different form, or it kind of, what I'm saying? I don't know if you really kind of stepped back and was like, I'm cold.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever had one of those moments for yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, I have. I think it was more noticeable for me when it came to verbal artistry. When it came to my spoken word, and when it came, um, I remember one time, like I said, I started a lot in college, and like as I became more aware of amazing other artists, like I felt myself shrink down because I'm like, oh, they really do this. You know what I'm saying? I remember going to an open mic, and I was walking in, I'm all puffed up. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to go in here. It's my freshman year. I'm about to do this. This is about to be me. And yeah. And they did not call my name on the list for that open mic because there were so many other dope artists that they had already known about and knew these dudes could spit, knew these girls could spit. And I'm listening to them. I'm like, oh, I'm glad. I'm mad they ain't called me, but I'm also like, thank you, because I got up there and they probably been like, but it was honestly,
You do it, yeah.
2 years I was at this place where the dudes and two dudes specifically. One's name was Kevin Reed. He went to ISU. And another one's name is Rewind. They both amazing. Just they can spit. Like they can spit. And so these were the two of the guys that I was in awe of in my freshman year. And then by my junior year, I had put a lot of work into my pen. And one of my friends, she put together this music festival. And it would feature artists from the school. And she had like different topics that we talked about at the festival and everything. It was a dope event. I hope she do it again. But between every segment, there was a freestyle session. It was like on some BET Cypher stuff. And they had selected who was going to be rapping with who. And so the last group was these two dudes and myself. And I felt so honored. I'm like, yo, this is cold. But I spent 2 weeks writing my verse because I'm like, y'all ain't go just show out on me. You know what I'm saying? And I remember feeling so elated as the cycle was going on and really, feeling like that moment where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm low key, I'm nice now. I'm nice. And then to have them say, bro, you snap, bro, really get that kudos from people that you really look up to and you aspire to be like. That was, I don't know, that was one of those moments where I saw the growth. I saw it was a tangible thing in my artistry.
See, that's amazing. That is amazing. I think for me, that just going back to that moment of like when you said you shrunk yourself. I think a lot of people tend to do that when they get around people who have I'm like people that are just showing their greatness. And I'm just like, but you don't know what that person, where they came from, what they went through to get there. Like, you cannot be discouraged by somebody else's, even, let's be clear, somebody else's walk with God, somebody else's, you know what I'm saying, somebody else's journey. Like, you cannot be hindered by that and be like, well, I ain't gonna really, mine ain't gonna look like that. And the reason I say that, and it's kind of like, this is a good segue, because my son even said, my son is 13, and he was just like, Mom, I'm he told me that he was intimidated. And I'm like, you're intimidated by what? He's like, I'm intimidated by your walk with God. And I'm like, but why? He was like, I really don't know if I want to, go there, because I don't know if I could do it like you. And I'm like, I had to really sit my son down and let him know that your walk ain't gonna look like mine, and my walk don't look like nobody else's. And you have to understand that your mama grew up in the church. So, you know what I'm saying? I got some years in this. I've been doing this. So you can't let that hinder you from just coming into a relationship with God, and period. Like, whatever it is that you are wanting to do, whether that's art, whether that's starting a business, you can't, people always say like, well, somebody else already did it. So
they ain't you.
So what? They're not you. They're not gonna have a unique spin on it. Like, you just don't be discouraged. So if you out there watching and you want to start something, a business, whatever that looks like, if you want to start painting, if you want to, whatever that is, do not let somebody else's journey hinder you. Like, step out on faith and just do it. Definitely step out on faith and just do it. So Josh, so talking about just relationship with God and how that came about, like, when did you come into a relationship with God, and do you remember that moment?
So I actually accepted Jesus twice in my life. I accepted Jesus as the leader of my life at 6 years old. I remember it, being in church and making that decision. And then I also remember maybe a year later, or maybe in that same year, I was at Bible study on Wednesday night, and we had a separate section for the kids at that time at the church I was attending. And you know how they give the call, they'll open up the doors of the church. If you want to accept Jesus Christ, you come on to the front. And when they was doing it for the kids that night, they had these plastic crosses that they was giving out. For people, they would give you the bag with the church information, and then they had this cross in there. And I was like, I want one of those crosses. They didn't give me that when I accepted Jesus the first time. So I did it again. And somebody had ran over to the other side to get my mom, because like, oh, Josh getting saved. My mom was like, Josh already saved. Josh already in a relationship. She got me. She asked me, well, why do you do that? And I'm like, because I wanted this blue plastic cross. They got this black string around it. I want that. And so I got saved at a young age. But I remember when I actually started living with God and really investing in developing my own personal relationship with God. I was in college. It was my junior year, and my friends probably would say, you always was talking about God. You always was doing this, that, and the third. You always kind of was a little different. But I don't know, at that time, and in my life, I was really struggling with a lot of depression, a lot of self-consciousness. I really had a lot of low self-esteem and stuff like that. And it was weighing on me my sophomore year. And I was really dealing with suicidal idealizations. I was going through it. And I remember I had got my first apartment. Wow. And I'm sitting in the bathroom with my Bible. And that night, I'm just like, God, I need, I know you're real. I know you're real. Like, that's not a doubt. I'm like, and I know you love me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I see the way my mom moves in her faith, and the way that you navigate with her. I see the way my grandmothers move in their faith. I see, these people that are pioneers of faith in my life. I see their relationship, but I don't see that in my own life. I don't see the same fruit. I don't feel the same level of intimacy and connection with you that I know is possible. And so you're going to have to do something different here. I need you to show me yourself in a different way. And after like praying that prayer and really sitting in scripture, and that was a time where I felt God become real to me, you know, in a very, very different way than he was prior. I started really getting to know the character of God and really understanding the heart of God in a different way. And I don't know, like you really feeling this new reality that I mentioned earlier on, like that sophomore year in my first apartment bathroom was when that kind of started off.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely, yes. I definitely can connect with that. Hey Rita, thank you for joining us. Hey Erica. Rita said yes. Erica says I can't wait to see the pain. Josh, go ahead and show them where you at. I don't know if I want to show mine.
Why you ain't?
But I will. Okay, this is where I'm at. So this is where we at, y'all. Okay, y'all. So this is what we're painting today. Let me show y'all for everybody that just joined. This is what we're painting today. This is one of Josh, is this the original?
I mean,
this is kind of get this from somewhere.
That I saw on Google, but yeah, it's something I kind of just painted.
Yeah, so I'm trying to recreate it. I had a bright idea to recreate it, and long and behold, Josh was gonna recreate it today too. So yeah. We both painting the same thing.
So I'm like, let's just do this.
Let's just do this. Okay. So y'all, I actually have a treat for y'all because, and I kind of gave Josh a disclaimer to let y'all know that I was going to be sharing a piece of his today. So I'm actually going to go ahead and we're going to share one of his pieces that kind of just, I want to kind of dive into it because I've seen it on Instagram and I'm like, yeah, let's talk about that. So here is one of Josh's pieces, and then we're going to hear from the artist himself and let him kind of dive in and explain, and we're going to pick his brain a little bit on it. So here y'all go. Enjoy this.
I'm not a singer. Yeah. Apparently, my heart been harking to the very thing that's killing me. A silent death, silent nights I fall asleep in lone soliloquy and wonder silly things. Wonder will love always have this difficulty. Hall of Fame, rookie in my status, though been added in these lengthy games. Wish my shot was automatic, way I brick. Got me wonder why I'm building, got me questioning my feelings, got me pondering robotics. Skynet in my thoughts, I terminate my heart for solace, but it's killing me. This office, Lawrence healing all my problems. Prescription found in music, maybe medicine will soothe it. Salve by finding tunes and then I wrap around profusely. Way back in the days they used the honey to medicate. It's no wonder I'm bittersweet, guess it's part of my history. Maybe need a closer look at patterns in my past. Maybe if I change the way I drive, then I won't crash. Open Uber app, cause I can't take another accident. Can't afford to start from scratch again. Can't afford to break my heart, too hard to patch again. And so I quit it cold turkey like a smoker's end. Until I find a new port, on God I love to swim. Lost in these waters of love. Currents will drag you through mud. They try to warn me about the deep end. If you gon' jump and have a good swim.
All right. So Josh, tell everybody the title of that piece.
Shoot, let me double check. Babbling Brook, is it?
No, that was it long? Hold on, because I didn't even see.
Lone Soliloquy.
I was gonna know it off top.
Yeah, Lone Soliloquy. No,
okay.
I mean, I write so often, you don't always remember. But
I understand. So listen, I'm gonna let you just tell us what was going on during that session of writing and just letting that come through your pen? What's going on?
Love and heartbreak, you know what I'm saying? Like yeah, that's honestly, I was going through a situation with a woman I was seeing, and we kind of like, it just didn't work out the way that I would have hoped for, and I was processing that, and processing, I think, the troubles that I've had in love, and doing romantic relationship, and like talking about, they tried to warn me about the deep end. If you gonna jump and have a good swim, like, I don't know, like I was really struggling in that, and I'm still kind of processing that situation still. And so that song just was really about, man, I wish, like, even let me see what the lyrics said, like.
Go ahead, pull up your lyrics so you can really.
This very thing that's killing me, a silent death, silent nights, I fall asleep in lone soliloquies and wonder silly things. I wonder will love always have this difficulty? And like, just Hall of Fame rookie in my status, though been added in these lengthy games. I wish my shot was automatic. Way I brick, got me wonder why I'm building, got me questioning my feelings, got me pondering robotics, and like really pondering, like, dang, is it worth it? Is love really worth this? The heartbreak that I feel like I've consistently had to process in periods of romantic engagements. And so, like, really just, it's this inquiry. It's like, yo, is this something that you want to continue to fight for with this person? If this doesn't work, is love something that, romantic love, something that you want to fight for, period? Like, or do you just want to kind of just go ahead and just belong to the streets? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want to just let it go?
Not the streets. Not the streets. Not the streets.
And so, yeah, that song just was really really me now really processing my own emotional place and my own desires for romance, and then my own failures, and like my those times where I done took some L's, and I'm like, man, what do you do with that? What do you do with those emotions when that person that you feel those emotions so strongly for is no longer present to engage with that with you? So it's, yeah.
That's a deep one. That's a deep one.
Yeah.
Listen, I think that, and to hear you explain it, because I think that, people they can interpret someone's art so many different ways, but to hear straight from the artist and really and being able to understand where they were coming from during that time of writing, I think that people can really, connect with that. Like, I think anybody who say they haven't gone through heartbreak, they telling the story. Everybody has gone through some type of heartbreak. They lying, right? Straight line. Back in the day, I couldn't say lying when I was little. Was that a thing? Like, was y'all not able to say lie? Because I was not able to say lie around certain people when I was younger. Like, you don't say that. It's telling the story. I'm like, it's a lie. What are you talking about?
No, I used to get smacked in the mouth.
Telling the story. What? It's a lie.
My mom used to say,
listen, like, I think they be ready to.
Nah, it's to the point that even now I got PTSD being around my mom. Like, certain things, she raised her hand too quick. I'm like, hey, you gotta warn me when you lifting for something, you trying to get something out the cabinet. Matter of fact, I get it out the cabinet. Keep your hands at your waist.
That's crazy. Our parents that did that. Listen, Josh, you done got a round of applause here in the comments. Jared said, all right now, Josh. So everybody feeling that piece. Like, that piece for me, I was sitting there vibing out like, man, ooh. You be having a moment, you be like, whoa, wait, hold on. Because you hear somebody else come out their pen and listen, some stuff that you thought that you was cool on, you don't be cool on it no more. You be like, okay, hold on, because them feelings coming back. Hold on, I didn't know that I was still in this place. Hold on now. So I think this is a good segue, though. So, Josh, with you being a man of God, I think that a lot of the times, and I just, kind of want to dive into this, like, I think a lot of the times you guys are kind of forgotten when it comes to the dating and being a Christian and being able to navigate through that and things like that. Like, how has that been for you? Like, I know for women, Christian women, we always talking about singleness and I'm navigating through it and I'm hidden right now and God, for us. And then you have the man's perspective where it'd be like, what is y'all really going through? Like, y'all okay over there? Like, we be having to gotta check on you.
Yeah, no, I'll share that I stay in the house. I got 3 roommates, and all but one of them are single. We all 3 of us are single. One is engaged, and so we've been walking through this we just been kind of navigating this place together. And it's like it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Dating is not fun. I don't have fun being in this space where I'm dating. Because I think especially when you've decided something for yourself, like thinking about how I want to live my life and how I want everything in my life to honor God, even when it comes to dating and what I'm willing to do, and like, just I think we talk about like order. There's a certain order to our lives that God is looking for and ushering in. And I think just in society and where we at now, like, it's okay to do things out of order. And for me, I've been in spaces where I've been exploring dating with people with women that are okay doing things that I'm not okay with, and I'm like, no, like I'm trying to do something, like I'm trying to be here. I'm trying, and it's already hard being here, both physically and
right.
Like, so it's been difficult because you pray for different things, like I'm praying for God's timing in marriage. Like, I want to be married. God's timing with kids. I want to have kids. God's timing. And God's, I think, and having like somebody that you match. You know what I'm saying? That matches you, that matches your grind, matches your vibe, matches your heart posture. And just navigating this, I think dating is I don't know. I don't like this. I don't.
You don't like it?
I don't like dating. I don't like, because
it's not easy.
You've been through the talking phase. How many times have you been through the talking phase?
Listen. Let me. I ain't been talking to nobody. Okay, listen.
I ain't talking about right now. I'm just saying, how many times have you gone through the talking phase?
I don't date like that. Like, I haven't gone through very many talking stages. Like, look, either we dating or we not. Like, I'm not doing the talking stage. Like, there is a lot of people that just like that in between. Okay. You know what fate, like, I hate the what's understood don't need to be explained. I don't know. Listen,
how do you get to understand it through explanation? So
we're not doing that. We're not doing that. What's understood don't need to be explained. No, we're gonna establish, and we need to both be on the same page that either this is what we are doing or this is what we're not doing. And I definitely feel that, and I think for me, like, I'll be having like a certain anxiety when it comes to dating, because right now, like with me, coming back into a relationship with God and really trying to, like you said, make sure that I'm in the will of God and moving, and making sure that I'm moving correctly. I'll be like, look, I be having to pray, like, Lord, let just get my discernment be good, because weed them out. I don't need no extra. If they ain't right, Lord, don't. I have,
say, like, I don't need nobody that's gonna mess me up. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to walk this way. I don't need nobody that's gonna pull me, backtrack me,
take me off track. Right? Don't take me off track. I'm doing good right now. Like, just let me, please let me, for real. I think that's. I have a shirt that Maxi got me. I can't remember what the shirt say. That if God ain't seen you, I am unavailable. That is what my shirt say. And I wear that shirt so often because I think that's really how I feel. Like, if God ain't sent you, I'm unavailable. And I think that's okay. That's an okay place to be in. But ladies and gentlemen, it is not easy. And I think for me personally, that just to make sure that I am doing and moving correctly, I've come up to the space where I'm like, if you don't have no personal relationship with God, we ain't got nothing to talk about. Because there's no
deal breaker for me. Like, I have relationships, like platonic friendships with people that we are not in the same faith family, you know what I'm saying? That's
right.
But when it comes to who I am willing to explore partnering with in life, no, you gotta have a relationship with God. Like you gotta be active in that relationship. You can't just say, yeah, I believe in Jesus, and you out here.
I go to church on Easter.
You know what I'm saying? Your life don't look, like, somebody who's following Christ, Now that's a deal breaker.
Exactly.
I was on, I had done a dating app. I was on Hinge. So I got two stories. Actually. So I've been in 2 dating apps. I was on, and I'm gonna tell you about the first one. I'm not really social media savvy. I don't know. I'm not really in it like that. You see, I post very, very little, and everything I post is art. And on Twitter, I kind of scroll, but I don't know. Like, that's not something that I'm really depth.
That ain't your thing. Yeah.
And so my friend, she like, Josh, and I was telling her, I'm about to start dating. This is the time where I wasn't dating, and I was like, I'm thinking about, being open to dating. And she like, oh, well, in the pandemic, what's the pandemic thing? No, this was prior to the pandemic. And she like, well, you can get on, one of the dating apps. And I'm like, I ain't never really thought about that, but I ain't dated in a long time, and maybe it's a way to kick up conversation. So, and she was like, well, you could try Tinder out. And at that time, like I said, I ain't really know. So, yes, so I found out about Tinder, and I made a little profile, posted up there, and then there was 2 or 3 women that hit me up through that, and some of the conversation, I'm like, how you doing, XYZ, and some of the conversation that that started that I'm like, wait, no, that's what you mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I found out that Tinder.
Wait, this was your friend?
No, so she just shared Tinder with me. She was just like, she didn't tell me.
Your friend sent you to Tinder?
Yeah. And so
I
found out that Tinder is not for real you trying to date, Tinder you trying to date, you trying to. So I got up off of there real quick. But then I found out a couple months after that about Hinge. So I tried Hinge and just was on there kind of scrolling. But I'm like, I got off maybe, after 2 weeks, it just kind of had kicked up conversation with, one person I knew actually, and I came across her profile. And so we started having a conversation. And then, so I had a few conversations, but I'm like, I don't like this. This ain't for me. So I deleted my profile off that too. But that Tinder thing, I thought was funny because I'm like, yo, this ain't, and I'm fresh. I hadn't dated in a few years. And so I'm like, what is going on?
Straight off the porch? Ooh, straight off the porch with Tinder? No, that wasn't a good idea.
This ain't my speed. This is not what I do. I'm cool.
Oh, you should have just stayed on Instagram or something, Josh. You didn't went straight to Tinder. Ooh, wee. Oh, I hope you went back to your friend and was like, why?
I did. We laughed about it. I'm like, first off, I've been celibate. That, I ain't dated. I'm like, why would you share this with me? And she was like, oh, yeah. You ain't really trying to. I'm like, no, I ain't trying to look up.
Yeah. Poor Josh. They didn't send him they sent the man to Tinder, y'all. Good grief.
It was wild.
Well, I'm glad you survived Tinder and then you didn't came on back.
Nah, yeah.
Did you start your, what is this a moon? This a moon, right? Did you start it yet? I started mine. I don't really.
Yeah. I mean, That was the first thing I did.
Mine, I started it. Yeah, I don't really like this. I'm gonna continue it. I know. We already had this conversation. I'm not going to shut the painting down before I actually finish it. So I'm
Man,
not. I'm gonna let it flow. And then
you
by
gotta
the
let it
time, probably
develop.
by, next week or something. Huh?
I said you gotta let it develop.
I am gonna let it develop, but I'm the type of person that I'm still learning that to just let things develop and not just see it for face value and be like, yep, nope.
Yeah.
Cause I do that a lot, and I'd be like, no, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm done, and push it away, and it'd be done. But listen, so Josh, we're still kind of maneuvering through the pandemic. You maneuvered through Tinder during the pandemic. Good grief. We glad you got up out of there safely. But what is one what is one blessing that you can say came out of the pandemic for you? And I say blessing because I think it's so easy for us to focus on the negative. People always want to talk about all of the negative things that maybe have came out of the pandemic and transpired. Then what was a blessing for you that came out of the pandemic?
I think just we talked earlier about like not living, not letting fear rule in our decisions and in our lives and our choices. And so October of last year, I was working a full-time job as a director for a nonprofit. I started in January and I was working until October. Right around June, July-ish, I just was kind of feeling like, man, I really felt a pull to go into a full-time or art pursuing career, I guess. I don't know how to word that. I worded that real weird. Um, and so October, I was mulling it over for June, July, August, September, and I was becoming increasingly unhappy, just really, really frustrated, really unsatisfied. And I think it was just because like God just was like, "Yo, this is what I'm telling you to do. You afraid of, to make that jump." In October, I actually made that jump and started working for myself. I left my position. And it was hard because people have expectations, for you, um, and they will put a lot of their expectations on you, and like that stuff will, especially when it comes to people you have a good relationship with, you don't want to let them down and different things. But in October, I just took the leap, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made. It really blessed me in my professional life, but it also blessed me in taking that same mindset and that same mentality into other things. And I'm like, man, I don't want to let fear be an anchor. You know what I'm saying? I want to fly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to be scared to jump because then I won't fly. I won't know I can fly. And so yeah, that was the blessing. Like hurt my financial pocket. You know what I'm saying? Hurt my definitely saw a decrease in. But sometimes you got that increase. And so that was a blessing. That was a blessing. What about you?
Good. That's good. For me, one of my blessings that came out of this pandemic, and a lot of you that have been rocking with Pain and Release for a while and just rocking with me in general and know me, I was a teen mom. So me and my son grew up together. I tell people that all the time. We grew up together. So one of my blessings during this pandemic was really to reset and reconnect. I was able to reset and reconnect with my son, and it was something that was so needed for us. He's about to go into high school this year. So it's like it just God's timing is just so amazing because I think we both were in that space where we were like, we needed it. We needed to reconnect with each other. We needed to our relationship to just grow in different areas, but we wasn't in the space where we were both willing to just go ahead and do it. So we end up being at home more, and listen, being at home more, sometimes you could be ready to wring each other neck, but it was really a blessing for us to be at home more, to be able to talk and really just sit down and get to know each other as individuals. I think he's been able to get to know me as an individual. I'm getting to know myself as an individual. I've really learned so much about myself during this pandemic because I've had time to just sit with myself in my, you know what I'm saying? Because we couldn't go nowhere.
Yeah.
So I've been really having time to just really sit with myself and sit with God and being like, Lord, what is it that where do you want me to go next? Like, and really being able to do that. So I don't know. That's one of my blessings, being able to reconnect with my son. So I've enjoyed that piece of it. So that has been good for us. That was my blessing during this time. So y'all, I told y'all in the caption, if y'all look at the post like y'all supposed to, Josh he's gonna perform a piece for us. If he didn't forget, no, Josh, you didn't forget, did you?
I remember right when I logged in. I was like, oh, this is a thing I'm going to be doing. So yeah, I'm ready.
Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna let you. Yeah, I'm gonna let you go ahead and perform your piece. So y'all are gonna be blessed with a piece live right here from Pain and Release. And Josh gonna go ahead and show us what he got. We ready.
Okay. So backstory to this piece. I went to the Modern Art Museum right before the pandemic kicked off with a friend of mine, and there was this picture, this painting there, where there was it was the silhouette of Michael Jordan, and they had this white Jesus. I don't believe in white Jesus, but they had this white Jesus fit into the silhouette of Michael Jordan as he's like dunking. So I thought it was amazing. Like I was just like, man, this is fire, and I'm gonna write a poem about this. And so when I got home, I actually started writing a poem. This is what came out. So it's called Michael Jordan. It says, I remember days when Jordan was Jesus. The air was the water he walked on at Well, Madhouse on Madison, living live when miracles happened, spirits moved, visions impaired by spirits, but eyes open when saliva touched court as tongue hung out his mouth, sacrificial lamb or goat to crowd. I remember days when I read 2-3 across my TV screen like Psalms. When Granny shouted Jordan like Jesus and praise like Sunday service, nervous when he was not giving control. Jordan, take the rock, Jesus, take the wheel. I remember when they announced his name before games and opening ceremony. When the people lost their nerves, it sounded like worship from the masses, and multitudes would come to see him break the bread of championships, turning none into one and one into six. The whole city would have their feel. I remember when he was sick. Influenza filled his lungs, and although the game was won, I saw a weakness in Jordan that subtracted from the sum of who I had thought him to be. He had beaten buzzer like punch-drunk Jeopardy contestant and saving games time after time as if living memory card, but in one foul swoop, he could not save himself from the stumbles at the foul line. Then I remember that throughout the years, Jordan turned into Kobe. And Kobe turned into LeBron, and colors changed on jerseys, so did numbers, but Jesus never changed his name. And then I thought that we treat throne of heart like rhythmic chairs, musical. What we prioritize is most important, waltzes around the room, leading us in step with the wrong beat. So it's beat it for some, king of pop. For others, queen beat takes the slot. For many, it's kingdom set in currency, and so their jobs. Others' romantic interests are the beat makers of their hearts. These things preoccupy not just their time, but become our gods. These things preoccupy not just our time, but they become our gods. These things preoccupy not just our time, but they become our gods. We say time is money. Word says where your treasure is, there your heart would be also. They become our gods. Now, I remember that idolatry is pervasive. contagious. It's underlyingly religious. It's worship of the created rather than the creator. It's like praise and worship of the iPhone when you have Steve Jobs standing in front of you, staring you in the face, handing you the phone he contemplated, he calculated, with all the pieces perfectly placed, he positioned in one space, they've become complicated, which for us is more than just a little bit too complicated, while saying, look what I made for you. It's yours. And then we give our love, our attention, our affection, and thanksgiving to the gift, which was meant to be the resource, but not replacement for the source. I remember that we are lost. And everybody wants the joy, but nobody wants the Jesus that demands that we bear the cross, because the cost is every idol that has been thrown king in our heart. I remember days when Jordan was Jesus. And then I checked my calendar and saw that those days have not passed. And that's that piece.
Woo! That, listen. Finger snaps. Look, for real. That was dope.
Thank you.
Listen, I didn't expect nothing different from you. So listen. Thank you so much for joining us today, Josh. Like, we really appreciate you just coming into the studio with us and rocking with us. Again, y'all, I'm gonna show y'all the piece that I was attempting to paint that Josh is repainting. Listen, see how far he is? Yeah, I'm not that far. But this is what we are repainting today. This is where I'm at. I think I kind of just, decided that I'm gonna do that off camera, where I got time to just process and really stare at the piece and really dissect it and get myself together. But I do want to thank you guys for joining us this Saturday. You said what?
I said I feel like I have an upper hand when it comes to painting and talking, because I teach painting classes, and so I have to communicate as I'm painting. Where if you used to just vibing out, it's a little harder.
Yeah, I probably, I've been doing this since June, and I still have not mastered this art of talking and painting. I be trying. My face be ugly. I be playing back some of the videos. I be concentrating, y'all. It's all bad. I'm trying. I'm still learning. Y'all gonna see me grow. We gonna grow during this time. But I just want to thank you so much for y'all joining us. Thank you for everybody who stopped by to vibe with us today on this Saturday. And we will see y'all on another episode. Y'all know what it is. We love you here at Paint Release. Y'all have a blessed and productive rest of y'all Saturday. Deuces.